Hello, this is Chris again with another episode of Civ 5, and this episode is going to be a bit of a doozy. I can say that with a bit of precognition because we are going to war today. However, much to our displeasure, the war we find ourselves in, the one we choose, will not be the only one that will grace our shores. So, with that in mind, slight spoilers for the future, we're getting ready for it. War will be coming here soon. I don't know how long it actually takes me to call this war. It might be a pretty long time, but it might not be. We do want to take one of the cities, and thanks to the positioning of our cities versus the positioning of our opponents, we're probably going to have to end up attacking Casablanca first. If we had our forces concentrated around Akkad, we might have been able to go around and attack Fez first, but as we stand at the moment, we are in a position to attack only from only Casablanca. So we can have our units move around to keep a close look on Morocco. Don't know how long this conflict is going to last, or if we'll be able to get out of it in a timely manner, or if it'll actually even go well for us. But we must do what we must do, and Morocco made this choice. It's not like we are the ones who decided this was the best course of action. Well, we did decide it was the best course of action for us, but Morocco's foreign policy should reflect its interests, and its interests have directly hindered our own. He should have known there'd be repercussions for such drastic action. I mean, what even do his people get from the ideology he chose? Happiness? Wealth? Both are useless in the grand scheme of things if they are emblazoned by tank fire. So we rush Broadway. We don't do that because we think we can get Broadway, but we do it because we think we can get a lot of money out of it. Which is probably not the best way to use a great engineer, trying to convert them into money, but we'll need money. We're going to need a lot of money because we're going to lose a lot of money when we go to war with Morocco. Luckily for us, we can actually start to shift around some of our trade routes to make sure we don't get completely screwed over by our decision to be an aggressive warmonger, but we will not come out of this unscathed. We will have to fight for, it's not our own freedom, our own survival. We're not about freedom. We're about order. We will bring order to these Moroccanese people. They know not what they did, but war is coming. Got a few turns before we can actually do anything with our war. I reckon the earliest we could actually pull it off at this point would be 2 turns. Not 2 turns, probably about 3 turns. Because we need to get the infantry tech, then we need to actually upgrade our units, which will take a turn. And then after the upgrade, we can actually just swing in. Attack the Moroccans with everything we have. Something was happening around America, wasn't it? Was I just looking over there out of curiosity? It's possible. So we start building up our artillery. Having a lot of artillery around means we can actually just bombard our way through an enemy army. Although, even though Morocco hasn't shown us any artillery is on the edge of being obsolete. So not really. I mean, it will be the mainstay siege weapon for the next 40 to 50 turns, but city progression has got to the point where attacking a city with artillery is not going to be that great unless it's a weak city. And we are not attacking a weak city. We're going to be attacking one of the largest cities. Not one of the largest cities, but one of the highest defended cities and probably likely the game. 131 is nothing to scoff at. So we actually got the tech. We can upgrade our pieces. And then next turn we'll be able to declare war. All of this is good for us. Working on railroads as well at the start of the war. Railroads mean that our workers will be able to railroad up our roads, which will mean we can get troops to the front line that much faster. Now this war is going to incur a pretty big happiness penalty on us. But if we can actually win the war, we'll be able to take out the largest negative tourism modifier on us. And we'll be able to bolster our own tourism. Morocco actually has become influential over us, so our worst fears from the last video have been realized. We're actually gonna vote against Washington's proposal. Because we're one of the higher tech levels, we don't want Morocco to catch up with us because we've researched the tech that they haven't. So here's where we're trying to declare war. We have open borders, so we can't actually declare war that way. We have to do it the old-fashioned way. So apparently Morocco actually knows some city-states, which we should learn the location of at some point. So we're moving in our troops. This army is a little bit small for the attack, but we are building up troops in all of our cities, so hopefully it'll have enough force to actually just push through, and then we can, after we push through, we can bolster. Because we are spearheading with a force that's pretty strong. Well, it's not that strong. Some of our units in it are fairly strong. Like the 70 attack strength off the infantry. It's good enough to choose over those great war infantry. However, they can still get eaten through. Luckily for us, Morocco seems to go in a bit gung-ho against us. Part of this conflict is just going to be who can sustain losses better. Considering Morocco is probably building wonders and other culture-related things, and they're not going to devote everything they have to this war, we'll probably stick out better. Especially consider Morocco is willing to push forward with troops into artillery lines. Because we can hit it with 3 bombards here, and then attack it twice. I'm perfectly fine sitting here on my borders, just eating troops that they decide to push into us with. That's fine with me. Give us some time to bolster. And the fact that they have to attack us over a river, over some hills, means we can pretty much get away with them turning up. We bombard them into the ground, nip in with a horse unit, take out the unit, and then nip back. We array our forces just outside the range of the city bombard. We want to try to take away as many free sources of damage as they have. So we're going to try to focus down range units when they appear. Try to focus down cav units whenever they show up as well. The cav units, while they aren't necessarily free damage, their damage is tended to be freer than our infantry units because they can nip in, attack, and then retreat. I even think the Moroccan units may have maybe one of the units has the ability to flee under certain circumstances. Although I might be mistaken on that. So 10 minutes into the video, we're already at war. We will be at war for the rest of the video. So here's to 20 more minutes of war. And then next week we'll probably be at war for another 30 minutes. In fact, this may just be the point in the game where we'll be at war for the rest of the game. That can happen in Civ. And it generally does happen on higher difficulties where even though technically you won a war, your opponent's like, but I have 500 boats. And that means I have a bigger military than you, so you should just give up. In the meantime, you have rocket artillery, they have no ground troops, and you've taken 90% of their cities. And they're still convinced that they're winning the war because they got a bunch of boats. I mean, at that point, you could just build a bunch of subs and spend your next 40 turns hunting the seas for every little boat that decided to scuttle its way out of its war-torn homeland, but not really worth it. Just let them think they're winning. So we can do things like that. Just bombard a unit 3 times with artillery, 4 times with artillery, and then move in, do some damage, and then try to retreat off. Our reinforcements are coming in, which is really good. Got another artillery. Our lines are actually looking pretty good. I was expecting this to be a little more difficult. Because generally, when you decide to attack the strongest AI in the game, you're generally attacking somebody who is, I don't want to say, like, I guess what I'm saying is that most of the time, the strongest player in the war is generally a warmonger. Because the AI can also really benefit from some of the tactics that we employ, wherein we just attack somebody, take everything that's good of theirs, and then slowly build up from there. The AI is also really good at winning based on that strategy. But on the other hand, we are not. That's really not what we're doing. We're more on the lines of taking out an immediate threat to us. And while Morocco is one of the stronger civs in the game, he hasn't got there by military force, so I guess that's probably why he's a little softer than we expected. Something wrong about shooting cav units with artillery. It's a little messed up, really. So our geography is also hindering us a little bit because we can't move in all of our troops into the area. Which may actually be a good thing for us. It also means that Morocco defends us from Morocco, and it also means that we can't just like vomit in our army and then get it obliterated and then be left with nothing. The slowness, while it is a hindrance, it is helping us too, because we are... Who declared war on Indonesia? Is that Washington? That's not good. The Inca are asking us to go to war with people. No, thank you, Inca. I really want you to go to war with somebody, but I will not be going to war with you. I think I've already got enough of a warmonger penalty going on. Although I did go through the proper procedure in this war. So this cav has penetrated our artillery line, which is really bad. But we can actually clean it up fairly easily. Well, I say fairly easily. One of them made it through. Gonna heal up with what we have, and then we're gonna move in from the west. Giving him that vision means that our men can just start mowing down this wall of troops here. I like our eastern invasion force. Our northern force broke a bit, but it pretty much recovered during this turn cycle. Finally switching all of our cities over to production focus. We're going to need a lot more units if we're going to close out this city. Which will probably happen today. I can't imagine it not happening today. Everybody is mad because we decided to attack Morocco. I guess he's mad because we decided to be friends with Indonesia, but Indonesia's not a bad person. Pretty decent folks. Literate people, we are still in second place. That is very good for us. They attacked in, but we could heal it up. We're trying to pick off the cannon there. Northern front has stabilized somewhat, but it's still a little fragile. I'm hoping that we can pick up some of the slack over here on the east. Thanks to these artillery lines, we can pretty much just slam into their lines. We're going to have this one go down. Actually, we're going to have this one go over to the north. He can be the vanguard that guards the great general there. More infantry for the grinder. Get some land ships up. Don't have oil yet, so they won't be too useful, but we might be able to pick up oil somewhere else. We might be able to pick up the tech after this one, and it is lower on the tech tree, I think, so should cost far less than the 10 turns. Really just needed something that's a little expensive that might be useful, that can hold up our science production for a few turns. Because we really want to focus our micro on the actual war going on. And we get moved away. That bout wasn't as hurtful as I expected it to be. Actually still in a pretty decent position to start picking off units here. So we pick off the cannon there. We move our artillery into city bombardment range. And we start microing down the infantry that's decided to close up on our borders. At this point it may look like things have gotten out of hand, but they're actually still pretty stable. Like, there's not a lot that the Moroccan units can do about the force that we have stationed in their land. Luckily for us, the AI's dependence on their unique units has actually done us a favor here. So our main force attacking the city from the east has been not really stopped in any meaningful way. and the majority of their cav forces have moved up north towards our city, which is completely useless because that is actually going to give us what we've been avoiding allowing Morocco to have in our southern theater here, which is free damage from cities. Yeah. So we get one kill from our own city to the west. And then we're probably going to get another kill. Yeah. Thanks to the damage from the city, we get another kill from our city in the north. Over the course of these last 2 turns, we've taken out 4 of his units, simply because he's decided to charge them forward. And now we have an artillery line set up right near his capital. Right near, not really his capital, his, I think this is his 4th city. But we've basically got the city we want surrounded, and he has 2 useless units up north, and not really anything left to defend his city.
Is the following trade of interest?
When our reinforcements arrive, because we're going to get another wave of reinforcements here in a turn or 2, we should just be able to slam into whatever defenses he has up at that point. Like, part of his problem moving forward with this defense is that his units at the front theater are just not sturdy enough / numerous enough to survive the artillery bombardments we have on the board. So he moved up his Gatling gun here, but 5 artillery shells will take that away. And then he could move up his great infantry next turn cycle, but again, 5 artillery bombardments will get rid of it. So he kind of dulled his defense, and meanwhile we're getting in new forces to help attack with. Still have 200 gold in the bank. That should help us should we run into a deficit. We take out the artillery, move more troops in, move a unit next to the city just to put on some pressure. That also zones of control us out that unit from moving over the river. Would have zoned him out from the river itself anyways, but can't be sure he didn't have some kind of tricky performance enhancing upgrade like amphibious where you can move across rivers without taking any penalties. Really, all we need to do to win the war at this point is defend our artillery line. If our artillery line survives, there will be no way that he can actually stop us from taking the city. In fact, it might be in time to actually increase the artillery line. So we might want to move in the 2 that are defending our city, and then just move them into the attack line as well. Fortunately for us, our opponent has not. I mean, Morocco has put up a pretty sturdy defense, but we always knew it was going to be a sturdy defense. Like, we didn't come into this war expecting to make a lot of progress. I mean, we're 14 minutes into it, and we're just now getting to the point where we can actually attack the city. Next turn we'll be able to bombard it with... turn after next turn we'll be able to bombard it with 5 as opposed to 3. I don't know why... Well, you may have seen it there too. There are some Hunnic great infantry soldiers in our lands, and I assume the reason that's the case is because he has peaced out with Morocco at this point. So while I was slightly worried that maybe Attila wasn't pulling his weight in this conflict, it looks like he was. Which means we're going to want to try to get this siege over with as quickly as possible before any return troops can come and mess things up for us. Honestly, it doesn't look like... I mean, Morocco still can put some pressure on us, but we're gonna have to get rid of the front line before anything worthwhile comes out of the pressure. And if we just pillage and sit there and heal, the forces that they have here won't be enough to take out the front line. And our front line is growing. Like, we have 3 more infantry coming in. Proximity has also been a real boon for us in this conflict. Unlike the Moroccans, we can actually get troops here relatively quickly. And thanks to our production, we can put out a lot of troops pretty decently. So we did 1 bombard on the Lancer there. Probably just to dissuade them from actually coming in at us. And then we move in our other 2 artillery pieces. With the infantry behind it. May not have been the best course, but I wanted to get the attack up as quickly as possible. At this point, we just really want to end up getting through this conflict as quickly as possible. It doesn't look like we might not have a choice in the matter. Dude, Morocco just declared war on... Indonesia. Talk about a bold statement against us. Declaring war on somebody half the map away because you're just so unenthusiastic about the current war. So Morocco decided to move out. They decided not to punish our greedy push forward too much. They took out 1 of our units, but unfortunately for them, this will likely cost them the city. We are bombarding it 5 times. I don't know, I guess of the civs in the game, we were probably one of the few that had any chance of actually attacking the Moroccan homeland. So we have 5 infantry around the city, or within range of the city. We have 5 artillery. It's a small force, all things considered, but it should be enough to actually get us through. We have gotten a pretty good hold on this situation. Backs against the mountains, but we have all the room we need to actually take out the city, so not too worried about the future. I have no clue how this recording session is going to go. I kind of butchered the audio a bit, so forgive any oddities you may find throughout. It was a bit of a trial. But there's been this bug that's been plaguing my recording sessions for Civ for quite a while now. And that's that the monitor /computer I use has a sleep function that goes off after about 30 minutes. After about 25 minutes, I think. And I haven't changed that to 30. So occasionally it'll go to sleep right in the middle of a recording session. When it does that, Shotcut gets a little confused, a little bit worried about what's happening, and it decides, not going to play video anymore. It's going to stop working. When that happens, you have to save and then reload, and if you're not watching out, you might end up bugging your audio a bit. And what I tend to accidentally do is just accidentally turn the audio off, which means you end up having multiple audio files for the same video. It can be a little bit annoying, but all because I keep on forgetting to do a very simple function within the computer, which is changing the amount of time it takes for the monitor to go to sleep. Attila has declared war on us. Well, I didn't expect you to be a good person. Oh, and Gustavus Adolphus has declared war on us. Fortunately for us, it doesn't look like they're very prepared for this conflict. I mean, Attila, who is half a world away, has the most troops near us. So we're just going to continue actually invading Morocco. We're building all troops in our main city anyway, so if anything turns up, we can just divert troops from the front line to whatever new theater decides to pop up. Which it doesn't look like one's popping up. There's one Swedish horseman there. So bombard the city. Bombard the city. Bombard the city. Bombard the city. Come along now. And bombard the city. And it is weak enough to actually take it now. We don't care. And it's down to 14. Despite being a recent addition to our empire, it is now the third biggest city in the whole empire. Pretty decent. To 5 cities, and Morocco's down 1 city. Our happiness is awful. Very, very bad. But, we don't have a choice at this point. Washington denounced us. We are actually quickly approaching the end of the video, so I will soon be saying farewell to you. But as I was about to end the video, Morocco took back their city, so as a matter of pride, I decided to make it turn over another 2 turns so I could take the city back and then save it at the new turn while we have our new shiny empire. Luckily for us, Morocco taking that city back meant our happiness didn't go under 10 during our next upkeep, so we didn't end up getting rebels all over the place. And like I suspected, our new troops came off the presses, and they could just barrel into the Hunnic troops in the area. It's not like they're actually going to stay in the area. This is probably just a one-time force that got pushed out of Morocco, and are probably going to die before ever seeing their homeland again. So we took the city back. Started to take care of any residual forces, and I think that's good for now, guys. Well, as always, we're going to go into the awkward outro, where I say, thank you for watching, I hope you liked it and subscribed, and then I notice that there's still time on the timer, so I say it again, and then I say something along the lines of, thank you guys for watching, remember to like and subscribe, that kind of thing. So, as always, remember, like and subscribe, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye for now.